Hi, my name is Joe, and I'm an addict. But I'm also a few other things. I'm a father of two, a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. I'm also in two bands. I'm working on the third one, but two active bands. They are Grave Birth, which is a deathcore project based out of Pittsburgh, and I'm in the Karens, where I played drums and now I play lead guitar because we got Dr. Chud from the Misfits, the '90s Misfits. Like American Psycho, Famous Monsters, Evil Live. He was a drummer on all those. He came in to drum on our project, the Karens, which is basically what if a Karen was the singer for Black Flag, bitching about the grocery store and the ice cream machine and drinking wine and just being racist and terrible people. Karen stuff. We're trying to expand on that, but that's to come. We have an EP available. We just released on an actual EP record. We just released, but I am here not because of that. I mean, I might do some playthroughs of the songs for the bands, because I can play them on all the instruments, and it's just to show the process, my process anyway, how I record my demos, because I bring full demos to the band every time. I don't just bring them like, oh, here's a guitar riff, that's it, or here's some lyrics and a guitar. No, I bring you a full produced song with drums, bass, guitar, and vocals. So I might document some of that process, but I kind of just want to give a little peek into my life so I'm not just Joe from the Karens, or just Joe from Grave Birth, or just Joe from Smokin' Joe and the Heroin Cowboys, which is a joke name because it's just me. All the Heroin Cowboys OD'd or whatever. It's a joke. It's not very funny, but it's a joke. But I'm kind of here to tell you a little bit about myself, introductions. I grew up fairly middle class. Started using hard drugs around the age of 14. And that didn't stop until I was about 25. About 6 months before my son was born. I finally put an effort into staying clean. And I've been haven't touched dope since. I haven't put a needle in my arm since. Which is a fucking miracle. It's amazing. I never would have thought I could do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Honestly, with a little bit of therapy and medication, anyone can do it if you're doing the right thing. And I kind of want to show you a glimpse of who I am and how I think, because I'm definitely different than the average person, I would say. I'm not like, oh, I'm special or I'm cool, but I find myself at odds with people a lot because I don't have the same thought process as they do, and I don't think the same way about politics and the social norms and stuff like that. But I'm here to try and make it positive, make a positive spin on a negative situation. For example, I'm just got a notice that I have a hearing to be evicted from my house of 10 years. I've been living here for about 10 years now, and in that time I've accumulated an enormous amount of junk. Most of it's just garbage. I mean, there's some cool stuff in here. I'm gonna keep the cool stuff. I'm gonna keep my instruments and my personal items, but it's a chance for me to declutter and start fresh. Start with a minimum load again. And that's a net positive for me, because the amount of junk here and the amount of stuff I have to go through to get to the stuff that isn't junk is just downright oppressive. It's like a heavy weight on my shoulders, and I find myself, as I'm packing, I find myself feeling relief that I'm throwing all this stuff into a garbage bag. I find myself feeling lighter, less burdened by the day-to-day clutter, and it's great. It's such a good feeling. But at the same time, I'm losing my mind, manic, and I'm losing my mind. I'm manic most of the time and depressed the rest of the time, and it's perfectly normal to feel this way, and it's valid. And I want more people to understand that no matter what you feel, it's valid and it's your feeling, and you're entitled to that feeling. And I want to bring a positive, and maybe explain that there is positive even in negative. Like, there's always room for improvement. Things can always get better. Things could always get worse too. But if they get worse, you learn something. You always learn something there. And that learning something is a positive. It's a net positive. And what I've learned is that the system is broken. It is just broken. It does not work. It only works for the people at the very tippy top. And that's a whole political discussion that I'm not really willing to get into in my first video. I mean, I do want to talk about, like, my politics a little bit. I do want to talk about some of my stories. I have some pretty wild stories from when I was using, and they, I wouldn't change a thing. I've been through some horrible stuff. I've seen some horrible stuff. Like, so dark. It keeps me up at night sometimes. And, you know, honestly, I think telling those stories would help me process and get past those stories. And I feel like telling them to, just throwing them out there into the internet and letting everyone, you know, have a piece of it, and is a positive thing, because it tells you what not to do, and it tells you that no matter how dark things seem, it can get better. And that's really why I'm here, just to tell you that if nobody's told you they love you today, I love you. If nobody told you that there's hope today, there is hope. Like, I don't want to be a negative influence on people, and I know I inevitably will be. I inevitably will say or do something that people perceive in a negative light. It's bound to happen. It happens to everyone. But with that being said, it's how we react to those situations that's going to make a serious change. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to really change my way of thinking and get better. And I kind of want to bring you guys on that journey with me. And I also want to bring you guys on the journey of the whole band thing. Like, just what being in a small band is like, what going on a tour is like. Because this past spring, the Karens did an entire United States tour. We went across the top all the way over to Washington, across the top through, like, South Dakota and all that, Idaho and all that, Chicago, South Dakota, Idaho, all that stuff. Went up through Washington, down through California, through almost said New Vegas, through Las Vegas, through New Mexico, then Texas, Oklahoma, Chicago, back to Pittsburgh. So I want to maybe take you guys on the, I'm going to take you guys on the journey. I don't know how much of the journey I'm actually going to document. That's really up to how much battery and storage I have, and how interested you guys are. I mean, it's really an interesting thing, because people think we're just out there partying, when really, no. Like, the best times are like, we made enough money to get a Motel 6 and something to eat, so we can get a shower and eat today. So, like, that's pretty cool. Like, we came out of it positive. We didn't loot, like, I mean, yeah, there was money invested on the front end of the tour, but the tour itself started with, you know, only a few $100s and ended with more than that. Like, we all took home a few $100s, which it's not bad for a first tour, especially with no experience and minimal planning, and 2 booking agents working. You know, one booking agent couldn't finish it, so another booking agent had to jump in and then, you know, wrap it up around. And he's a whole story, the second booking agent. I don't even want to speak on him. it's a shame because he did have some really good connections and he did some really fucked up stuff. But I wanna I wanna do a lot of stuff. Like I said, the story times, documenting tours and stuff, playthroughs for songs. I even just the gear I use. Like I use a dead simple setup for both of my bands. I use the same rig for both bands. It's just different settings on the amp, and I'm sure someone out there will be interested in what I'm using, because I like to call myself a dirt wizard. And what that means is I take dirt cheap equipment and equipment that people would usually throw out in the, throw in the garbage because they don't know, they don't think it's any good, like a $20 microphone, or those cheap plastic $20 Behringer pedals. Like, I love those things. Those things are great. Like, I've toured one of those. My tuner is a Behringer tuning pedal, and I've toured it before, and twice, 3 times. I think I've done a total of like 12 dates with it on tours. That's not including shows. It's been to probably 50 or more shows, and I haven't had a single problem with it. I also had the noise gate for the longest time. I used the noise gate, and that I didn't have any problems with it, other than it didn't clamp down fast enough, which is the same problem I have with the NS2. But there's a noise gate built into my amp that I use on the back end, so it works really well the way I have it set up. And I also play a variety of different instruments. Like, I play the drums, I play the bass. Guitar's where I started, and that's what I've been playing the longest. Not that great at it, but I'm good enough. Same with the drums. I'm good enough to play with like a punk band or a rock band, or probably even a country band. Like, I could do it. But I mean, I use really cheap equipment, and I get it to sound really good in most cases. Like, my most expensive guitar I paid $300 for. Like, my Ibanez that I use for Grave Birth, it's 7-string Ibanez. It's one of the Geo models. It was, I think, cost me $199 brand new. I think they're $220 right now brand new. Which I swapped the pickup out because I didn't like the pickup. I got a pickup for $60, $260. A great fucking instrument, amazing instrument. And then for the Karens, I'm playing a Harley Benton double cut, the SG Junior clone with the P90. It's an amazing guitar, every bit as good as an $800 Epiphone, better than most of the Gibsons I played. So like, I want to document all this stuff. I have big ideas, big plans, and I want to do it with nothing. I want to strip it all back. I want to do it raw. Just like my same approach I have to music. I want it to be raw and real. Like, I want to show you like what I'm actually about. And keep it a $150 with you. I've done some really awful things in my life, and I want to do better. I want to be better. And if I can help someone else be better or do better along the way, that's great. But either way, there's a subscribe button, there's a like button, there's a dislike button. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, dislike it. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what I could do better. Input is, I need input to make better output. Better input means better output. Garbage in, garbage out. It's like the oldest saying in production. You put garbage, you can only, if you polish a turd, all you have is a shiny turd. It's, all those old sayings, all those old-timey sayings and stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm really just trying to put myself out there a little bit. I just want to kind of rip my chest open and throw my heart at you guys. And I think we could have some good times. I really do. But that's really all I got for right now. I'm going to tell you what I was always told growing up, and I mean this in the most positive way possible, because it means that, you know, make the best of what you have now, live in the moment. But the saying is, life sucks and then you die. See you guys later.